They've been called nature's tuxedoed comedians, a symbol of the Cape. Up close, they seem invincible, but their story tells another tale.
South Africa and Africa only have one penguin species, the African penguin. They feed on shoaling pelagic fish largely, and so they don't dive as deep as some of the penguin species, but they are incredibly efficient at the way that they dive and forage into the water. They live in a very productive part of the ocean, in the Benguela system, but it's also unpredictable, so they are adapted to responding positively or responding when food availability is good. And similarly, when food availability declines, it just shows the remarkable, tenacious kind of characteristics of African penguins.
In June of 2000, the bulk carrier Treasure sank off the coast of Cape Town, releasing thousands of tons of oil into the sea. The world watched as a disaster unfolded.
And it was just what followed then in the months after that spill was really a remarkable rescue effort that involved authorities, members of public from South Africa, from abroad.
As the world witnessed the tenacity of these birds, they were saved from another oil spill. But the future brought a far quieter, more sinister threat.
My huge concern at the moment is that the African penguin is now critically endangered because of a calamitous kind of decline in their population numbers. I mean, as an example, when I was living on Dustin Island from 1996 to 2001, the African penguin population was around 20,000 breeding pairs. It's now just over 2,000, so it's 10 times less than it was when I was living there. I mean, the global population of African penguins is just less than 10,000 pairs.
When you have like an oil spill like we had with the Treasure, it's a very visible thing. People can see it and then they want to act on that. What we're seeing now is a far more silent extinction taking place. It's happening under the ocean. You know, it's fish stocks being depleted, it's ship-to-ship bunkering that's causing noise. All of these factors are not seen by the public. We need the public to be aware of this, because when they're aware of it, then they can also make a cognitive decision to not accept this.
Scientists predict that we have less than 10 years to turn things around for the African penguin. So this really is the tipping point for the species. And what we need is collective action. We need conservation partners, SANCCOB government. We need everyone to get together to make a difference. What we actually need is what happened 25 years ago with the Treasure oil spill. We need people from all over the world to come together, united in their purpose to save the species. The greatest threat facing African penguins today is the lack of food. They've got insufficient food, and they are in direct competition with the small pelagic fishing industry who fish for sardine and anchovy. And what's frightening is that in South Africa, the combined sardine and anchovy stock is the lowest it's ever been on record.
It's critical that we look at this as a holistic thing, not just focus in on one species at a time. We need to fix the system, because if you fix the system, all the individuals within the system will then start to thrive.
Due to the conservation status of the African penguin being critically endangered, we needed to make a bold move and take a step. And the Pretoria High Court order provides for delineations around 6 key penguin breeding colonies. These delineations prohibit fisheries from fishing sardine and anchovy in the areas, and they are the key areas where the African penguins forage. The closures are in place for 10 years because they need to be monitored and they need to be enforced.
We're going to review after 5 years whether what has been implemented is bearing some fruit, and hopefully these island closure or closed areas within the key foraging areas give us that leeway to halt the decline, and hopefully we'll start talking about the upwards trajectory. The government's unique responsibility is to make sure that We safeguard the species, especially those that are mostly critical endangered.
Ship-to-ship bunkering, also known as ship-to-ship fuel transfer, is essentially when one vessel refuels another vessel, but it's at sea, it's offshore. This is a problem because since bunkering started in 2015, there's been a direct correlation between the decline of African penguin numbers on St. Croix Island, which is a mere few kilometers away from where bunkering is permitted, and it's essentially crashed. That colony has dropped by 90% since bunkering has started in Algoa Bay, which is a highly biodiverse area with huge numbers of marine species, including African penguins, other seabirds, and marine mammals. Research has shown that vessel traffic in Algoa Bay has doubled the underwater noise pollution in Algoa Bay, making it one of the noisiest bays globally. SANCCOB has lobbied against ship-to-ship bunkering in Algoa Bay, and since the African penguin was uplisted to critically endangered last year, it is mind-boggling to think that this activity can still occur because of the risks to the birds, especially oil pollution and the underwater noise pollution.
There is hope for the African penguin, but not without the unified efforts between government and the people on the ground.
Yes, Tony pointed out typical day will start with patrols around the colony, inside the colony, also outside. You're dealing with emaciated birds, you're dealing with skinny birds, because now where they will normally chase the food or the fish from the bottom, so then the other bird species will then also dig in and start hunting fish.
So what I do is to conduct patrols like every day to look for injured, sick, or oiled or abandoned seabirds. And then if we do find them, we stabilize them and then send them to SANCCOB where they will be rehabilitated and then send them back to the wild. We collect breeding success data. So we monitor penguin nests when they are breeding. We start monitoring when they are on eggs until the chick is fledged.
We will only know if we are making a difference when there's an increase in breeding success and the annual census counts are improving every year. Then we will know we've done our job.
And you know, when you look at like I4 and SANCCOB, I mean, we've had a over 30-year partnership, and that's critical in protecting species. That deep involvement and partnership has allowed us to work with SANCCOB, who are the sort of the gurus of the African penguin conservation movement.
There is strong political will in South Africa. Government has said over and over again that they're committed to conserving African penguins. But what we need is further resources, further capacity, a real investment needs to be made in South Africa.
The reality is that whenever you have species that are in a state like this where they're critically endangered, there's always that opportunity to be able to recover those species back. We've seen this with greater one-horned rhinos, we've seen this with condors, there's a number of species. But what it really takes is a pooling together of resources and people to make that happen.
If they do go extinct, they would have gone extinct as a result of our actions and inactions.
There is time to make a difference. If we get together and we collectively action this, we can make a difference.
The greatest ally of extinction is apathy.
And so I'm damn sure that I'm going to be involved in making sure that that doesn't happen. And I know that there are many others that feel the same way. So